Get back to you in just a second. All right. So on here, I'm going to talk to you in rules. I'm going to talk about what rules I'm performing, and so therefore you know where it's coming from and not just me creating out of thin air. All right, the first thing that I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the power rule. What do I do with the power? Oh, well, first of all, let's do the product rule inside here. If I do the product rule inside here, and then when I do the power rule, I'm only going to worry about 2 things instead of 4. Okay? And so right here, I'm going to combine those by multiplication. And so I'm going to do some rewriting here. 1, I need to have a common denominator of 3 to combine my A's. What would that be? What does my negative 1 need to come to so I have a common denominator of 3? Negative 1. That would make it 1/3. That would not be the same thing as 1, would it not? It needs to be the same thing as 1. How can I write 1 in terms of 3? Negative 3 over 3. Very good. Okay? And that's going to multiply in just a minute to a to the negative 4 over 3. All right? What about the b's? What's the common denominator of the b's? Huh? 3 as well. And so this b is not going to change. It's going to be 1/3. The other one needs to become what? Say it with some gusto. 6 over 3 is the same thing as 2. Okay? And so now I can combine them. All right? And so this one's going to be 3 over 3, or negative 3 over 3 plus 4 over 3, which is? Very good. I think me and you are the only ones here. All right. 1/3 combined with 6/3, which is going to add the exponents for the product rule, is 1/3 plus 6/3 is? Still raised to the power of 2. All right. And so now, what do I do with that power of 2? What's the power rule say I do to the exponents? I distribute them and I multiply them. So that's going to become a to the negative 14 over 3 and b to the 14 over 3. We agree totally? Yes. Totally. All right, and so now when I did that, I got the negative power rule, do I not? What does the negative power rule do? It changes this one, keeps this on top because it's positive, moves this one to the bottom. Right? And so now I've got to talk about how to rationalize this denominator. So here's what this really is. Okay? On top, it's really the cube root of b to the 14th power, right? And I'm not going to work it with radicals. I'm going to work it with the fractions. I'm just wanting us to be able to understand and go back and forth between rational exponents and radical form. And so the bottom is the cube root of a to the 14th. Okay, so that's really what that is, and the reason why I know I'm not done is because since I know what fractional exponents do, I have a square root or a radical in the denominator, and I got to rationalize it. Okay, so I did this portion right here so you could actually see what this represents. Okay, everybody okay with that? All right, and so now let's deal with rationalizing that. So we're going to bring this stuff down. The top, I don't have to rationalize anything. It is what it is right now. The bottom, if we go by the same concept we did up there, because I want to create a 1 or create a whole number right here, what times 3 gives me 14 that doesn't go over 14? Huh? 3 times 4 is 12, and that doesn't, and the next one is 15. 3 times 5 is 15, and so this is really going to be a, and this is going to be 12 over 3 times a, and what's left over? 2 over 3. Y'all agree with that? And so what does 12 over 3 become? It becomes 4, right? Because 12 over 3 reduces down to 4. And so my b to the 14 over 3 power, yeah, let's just do it over here, so I have room. B to the 14 over 3 power, and this is going to be a to the 4th power times a to the 2/3 power. What needs to happen to the 2/3 to make it equal 1?
6 multiplied by 1/3.
Okay, so I'd multiply it by a to the 1/3, right? Because that's going to make 3 over 3 as my exponents. Do y'all agree with that? And if I do it to the bottom, got to also do it to the top. Am I correct? All right, and so this is going to become b to the 14 over 3, a to the 1/3. Can I combine those? I got a common denominator. Same variable, very good, or base. Same variable or same base, good. And so the bottom now has, since I combine those, a to the 4th and a to the 3 over 3, correct? I know I'm showing more steps here, and some of you quit when I show steps, but at least you're getting to see the steps of what's happening instead of me cutting them out. All right? And so this finally becomes, so I can save room here, top doesn't change. Three over 3 becomes what?
1.
This becomes 1. And that becomes a to the 5th on bottom.